Even deeper inside the mountain, down the shafts and rickety ladders, conditions are subhuman.
In the hole you have to crawl and squeeze and suck in your belly to make it through. The next danger is the huge rocks above. Often they bury us, and once they move it's instant death. Then there is the darkness, and there is no air. Once you get down more than 200 feet, the airflow stops altogether. It's up to you to figure out how to breathe. As you crawl through the tiny hole, using your arms and fingers to scratch, there is not enough space to dig properly, and you get badly grazed all over. And then, when you do finally come back out with the cassiterite, the soldiers are waiting to grab it at gunpoint, which means you have nothing to buy food with. So we are always hungry.
The miners don't work for money. The rocks the soldiers don't steal are traded for food. Most become deeply indebted to traders, who themselves get stuck here for months, able only to witness the horror of daily life here.
The miners work for nothing. The soldiers always steal everything. They even come to shoot people down the mine shafts. Yes, not long ago, they shot someone. They forced the miners to give them everything, and they threaten to shoot anyone who argues. They are always ready to shoot. We are really penalized. We earn nothing, but we pay a lot. The soldiers, they are all around us here, but they're in civilian clothes.
Even the government's own Ministry of Mines has been rendered powerless by the greed of the Congolese army.
Compte tenu de l'insécurité.
Security is not respected. We live in a state where only the fittest survive. Different armed groups do what they want with the population for their own ends. The state doesn't benefit at all. We need to bring back order and get respect for the Ministry of Mines, because at the moment everything is done for those who are the strongest. We demand that order is reestablished. In that way, everyone can be in their rightful place, the military in their barracks.
100 years ago, the novelist Joseph Conrad described the colonial plunder of Congo as the vilest scramble for loot that ever disfigured the human conscience. Nothing has changed. As leaders of the rich world gather next week in Scotland to debate their blueprint for Africa, this is the stark reality of what they're up against.
We brought this huge tome to the top of the Cassiterite mountain. It's Tony Blair's bold new plan for Africa. When he launched it back in March, he said he feared future generations asking how wealthy people, so aware of such suffering, so capable of acting, could simply turn away and busy themselves with something else. Well, this stuff is mined and portered by people who are cannon fodder for our industries. This mine, BCA, has been fought over by 5 armies in just the past 5 years, but still we buy cassiterite.
The morality of doing so is now coming under the spotlight. Having seen what goes on here, we wanted to track down a British company that's one of the 2 biggest importers of cassiterite from mines around Walikale. Down on the airstrip, it was business as usual. Soldiers everywhere guarding their loot, which is flown out of here by middlemen who sell the mineral on to Congolese export agents and the foreign importers. Demand for cassiterite has surged because new laws in Japan and Western Europe have resulted in tin replacing lead in the manufacture of electronic circuit boards. Global demand for tin is directly linked to human rights abuse and the battle for control over mines such as BCA. Destination, the provincial capital, Goma. Old Russian plane, Ukrainian pilot, no seats.
We've hitched a ride on a cassiterite plane going back to Goma, the Walikale Express. I'm sitting on about 1.7 tons of the mineral.
It's a hefty payload. Some planes don't make the corner. We found our man, the British cassiterite importer, in another town, where his family, the Kotechas, have been in business for more than 40 years. We spent an hour and a half talking to Ketan Kumar Kotecha in this office, discussing the corporate ethics of buying minerals in a conflict zone. Our conversation became increasingly uncomfortable. His firm, Afrimex, has been importing cassiterite from eastern Congo for more than 20 years. But Mr. Kotecha refused to go on camera, agreeing instead that I could represent his views in our report. I was about to do exactly that when the provincial security chief arrived.
Est-ce que vous avez l'autorisation de filmer la ville ici?
Le filmer quoi?
L'autorisation.
Non, Congo.
Non, il faudrait passer chez nous, ça on ne peut pas accepter.
Okay. Gotta go to the station.
At police headquarters, we were questioned and our camera and passports were confiscated. We were released without charge the following day and put on a boat back to Goma. We could only speculate that Mr. Ketan Kumar Kotecha, a powerful man, had had enough of our questions.
Now, what he did say to us yesterday in his offices, and in defence of his interests in the cassiterite trade, was that what he was doing was absolutely legal. He said, and I quote, "Yes, salary structures are very low, but it's better that miners and porters earn something than nothing. If I didn't do it," he said, "someone else would. I'm not here to be some kind of moral saviour."
But it's a moral saviour that Congo needs. It's powerless, impoverished people at the mercy of other people's greed. Things are so dire here that there is no expectation that life will ever get any better, whatever the rich world's leaders think they can do. Congo's government can't control its own army or protect its own people. A people left to scramble in the dust, cursed by the riches under their feet.
Jonathan Miller and filmmaker Elizabeth Jones in eastern Congo.